Hey all, Al here again, back with another how-to video. So I'm just going to go through quickly how I used the Microsoft SDK to add in these 5,000 ships off the shores of Normandy to simulate the several thousand ships that invaded, or the D-Day landings. I wouldn't say invaded, but several thousand ships that were used for the D-Day landings on the 6th of June 1944, sorry, 1940. It's 80 years since it happened. Also in this video you'll hear in the background the flak, and you'll see the wonderful scenery that Jefferson 2001 came up with for the D-Day Commemorative Flight that Two-Tone Murphy done back over a week ago. That's also, I've included the description, a link to the description, a link in the description. Get it right, Al. Include a link to the a link in the description to Jefferson's brilliant D-Day scenery that I'm gonna do another video on shortly, and also a link to the ships, the AI ships. I can get it here. Global AI ship traffic for the sim that I use these ships from, by Henrik Nielsen. So I'll put a link in that. That's free as well. 3 gigabytes of ships, SHIPS ships, that you can download and install as well. I've used those. So what I'm just going to show you is quickly how I added in the ships using the SDK. I won't go through the whole thing of how to use SDK and everything. I'll put a link to another simmer that does that way better than I can. And if I can get, I should have it here somewhere. Of course I don't. So the other simmer that does the SDK tutorials way better than I can. Give me a second until I find him here. Patriot 6 is his name, and I'll put a link in the description below to his website. He will tell you how to, he actually starts right from the beginning. He gives you templates to download, which I downloaded, that you can then use to add in whatever you want to add in to the sim and create the scenery you want yourself. So basically the way the SDK works in the sim is, once you load the SDK, which is the developer's software for the sim, you can then create your own scenery. So once you create a project, it's as simple as creating a new project, opening up all the toolbars that you need. Patriot 6 will tell you how to do that. Go into objects. For me, you go into objects, it shows up all the objects in the sim, including the Microsoft default ones. If you want to share your scenery out with the community and want less hassle and don't want people having to download other object libraries, the best thing you can do is use the Asobo libraries that are already with the sim. Because what that means is, once you add in anything from the Asobo library into the sim and save the scenery, anybody else that loads that scenery that you save will automatically have all the Asobo objects already in the sim. For me, I used the objects that came from the AI shipping, global shipping. I used those ships instead. So before this works for anybody else, they would need to have the AI global shipping mod installed, which would then allow the ships to show up. If they did not, none of these ships would show up even if I gave them the scenery. So it's as simple as get a patch here. Over on the left hand side I've got groups. Inside those groups I've got more groups of ships. There's ships inside each of those. Inside each of those there's 20 ships inside those. So I've just grouped all the ships together, starting off with 20, then put the 20 together, you get 200, and then 5 times 200 you get 1,000, then 5 times 1,000 you get 5,000 ships. So the simplest, I'll give you an example of, to add in a ship, you go to objects. This is just an example of how to do it. This isn't a step through how to do it, it just shows you what I done. So we pick out whatever library we have installed. Seafront simulations, example. I have access to all their ships that they have. I've paid for Seafront simulations to download it. So once you buy Seafront simulations, or you download and install any free library, you can simply pick the ship, click on add, and it will add in the ship. Simple as that. You add in the ship, you can move it around wherever you want, either drag and drop, or you can give it coordinates. Using the gizmo, you can give it longitude and latitude to drop the ship. So what I did is I added in all the ships, 5,000 ships, and I then gave them longitude, latitude to drop them over here near the shores of Normandy, which then gives you, I'll just clean up the weather for a second, take off the DDay one, give me clear skies, which then gives you the 5,000 ships that I have here of the Normandy D-Day landing. This works for any object you can add into this. You want to add into the sim, you can go to your local airport, add in extra aircraft in there, add in whatever objects are in your library. So as I said, the best way to add in objects is to use the Asobo objects that are already in the sim. When you actually build your scenery and make it available, if you have the default Asobo objects, anybody will be able to use the scenery. The objects will show up straight away. Otherwise, if you use a library, another library like the Seafront simulations, I have UK scenery, airport library. If you use any objects out of those, you'll also need to include those with the scenery that you've done, so that when the person loads up in the sim, they actually load that library into their community folder as well, and the objects will show up then. So hopefully that gets people a bit excited about SDK and how to add in extra objects into the sim, customize it to the way you want. If you have any questions or need any help or anything, just leave a comment below, I'll get back to you. But for now, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll have a lot more of these how-tos as I get used to them myself. So hopefully if this was handy to you or you liked, just give a bit of a click on the thumbs up, it'd be appreciated, just to get it out to the rest of the YouTube community. Now